Hey everyone, Michelle McCarthy here from Homeschooling in the Pines. Welcome back to my channel. Before I start, I just want to say sorry. I have a cold. I'm getting over a cold, so I lost my voice the last 2 days, so it's finally coming back, and I'm a little stuffy. But I wanted to come in here and do a video, so please excuse my voice, okay? So what I want to do today, I want to talk to you all about. I know I've been talking a lot about Brave Writer and what I'm doing with Brave Writer, how I'm using it in my homeschool. So I want to talk to you all today about what is an arrow guide and how we are using it in our homeschool. So I'm just going to show you really quick what a week of an arrow guide would look like. So an arrow guide is a guide that goes with a piece, with a book, a literature. So this month we are reading Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz, which is perfect because it is a Hispanic Heritage Month. And the book and the Brave Writer comes with an arrow guide. So an arrow guide is it is a guide to help you teach your child in a very gentle way. Teach them grammar, spelling, reading comprehension, about literary elements, all by using this guide and by using the literature. Okay, so we are not using any spelling curriculum. We are using an extra grammar curriculum, but it's very simple. But all this, it teaches all those things in a very Charlotte Mason way, and it is very gentle for the child, so we are loving it. Okay, so we just finished last week. We finished the second week of the arrow guide, so we're just going to show you really quick what a week will look like. Okay, so this is what the arrow guide looks like. You can buy this in a bundle at the this started in August, and you will get the subscription for the whole year. You get the download, and what you have to do, either you can copy this, print this out at home, or take it out to Staples. What I did, I just go to Staples. I send the file in, and I have it bound and print it out ready to use. Okay, so each month you get at the beginning of the month you get the guide for the books, and there's a list of books, and I will link below where you can find all these books and the guides and the subscriptions. So I'm going to show you really quick. So what I do at the beginning of the month, after I copy this completely, I make a copy. At the beginning of each week, you're going to have a passage to study. In that passage, you're going to be working in grammar, you're going to be working on spelling, you're going to be working on some literary elements, you're going to be talking about the story, all based on that passage. What I do at the beginning of the month, after I also copy the whole guide, I make a copy of each of the passages. So I have week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we did for week 2. So I have the passage here, and I present it to my daughter first, and we read it. Before we start talking about it, we read the passage. I read the passage to her, okay? And before we do the copy work for week 2, what we did, and it tells you exactly in the guide exactly what to teach your kid, exactly what to tell them, where you're gonna be working on, okay? So before we read the passage, we worked at, there says that there's a couple words that you should work with your student, because it might bring them some spelling challenges. So we talked about those words. I wrote those words down. We talked about them, and I have them and I had her just copy it 2 times, okay? Just for her to get an idea how to spell those words. We're about double consonant in a couple words. So we talked about that. Another thing that down here it says, to talk about when to use when the 2 different ways that commas are presented in this dialogue. They're presented in a dialogue and in narrative. So we talked about that, and we found them in the passage. Okay, so that's the first way we did before we did our first copy work. So we talked about that. It's right here exactly what to teach, and then we usually, what I've been doing, we look at the passage. Sometimes if it doesn't give me words for me to work with her, I will just ask her to find, okay, let's read the passage together. I want you to find a couple words that you think it might give you some trouble with spelling. And she usually picks about 3 or 4. I write them down, and then she copies them. Okay, that's all we do. And I ask her to find all the times where she sees a capital letter, and we've been working in last arrow guide for the last book. We're working some quotations also, so I have her find all the quotation marks, and I have her circle them. Okay, so that's what we do, and then I ask her to. We're gonna start copying our passage. You can either copy the passage directly from the page here. You can put it up in a stand or something, but my daughter does have some trouble copying that visual, copying from paper to the notebook. So what I've been doing, and as we progress this will change. So what I do, I copy the passage for her and I leave a line below it, so she will copy the passage right below it. Okay, so I copy the whole passage. And the first day I've been telling her, okay, so I want you to copy as much as you can until you feel that you're getting tired, you're getting bored, and you don't want to do this anymore. So she's been doing about half, and then the next day we'll work on the other half. Okay, I don't make her do this whole thing in one day because I don't want her to get sloppy. So I said, okay, whenever you feel like you're kind of done for the day, we stop. Okay, and that's been working. Okay, that's one of the brave writer things, just not to push your kids too much and try to, instead of telling them what to do, you try to more like entice them to do the work. Okay, so what I've been doing, and also put some candles out just to get a relaxing time when it's our I've been calling it copy works and candles. So when it's time to do our arrow work, I just I turn some candle on, I try to clean the table a little bit, and like I said, just let her copy as much as she thinks she can copy without getting bored, tired, or sloppy. Okay, so that's for day one. So for the second day, we're looking at the passage, and it tells you exactly what to say. It says how to teach the passage, and it's talking here how we're seeing the scene through the main character's eyes, and it to help us understand how the character is feeling, and just how her life is changing. Esperanza Rising is a beautiful book, by the way. If you want to read it, it's just amazing. So we talked about that. We talk about it. Then we talk about the different words between emigrate and immigrate, and we talked about it. We talked about the root in that word and what it means, and we talked a little bit about immigration. So a lot of conversations start coming up as we start working on these things. So that's and I taught her what the word emigrate means and what the word immigrate means, and I gave her some examples, and we talked about it. So that was the second day of her copy work. So then I asked, okay, so from yesterday, I want you to finish the copy work that you started. So the first day she did half, and then the second day she did the other half. And you can see here how I wrote some of the words for her, and she wrote them down. Okay, now for day 3, then we're going to be talking a little bit about grammar, and we were talking about when she will indent, when she will not indent, and we're talking about how sometimes in like work that is typed, like a blog or email, sometimes you don't have indentations, you don't leave a space. So so just in different ways when you should leave a space and we should just indent, and we talked about that. The third thing that we do is usually the third day, we've been doing what is called a French dictation. I'm going to show you what we did for the last arrow because my printer ran out of ink. We've just been doing it on the board. But French dictation is kind of a passageway through full dictation. And what I do, I copy, this is from the last book, but I copy the passage out for her, and I type it, and I leave some words out and that I want her to fill in as I dictate the passage to her. My main goal will be, as the year progresses, that she will be able to copy the passage from dictation without having to have a French dictation. Okay, so this is called French dictation, and there's also something that is called reverse dictation. It's when you copy the passage down but you have some errors and you have the child fix those errors for you. Okay, I usually type it and leaves misspelled words, leave some punctuations or capital letters out, and the student will fix those errors. That's called reverse dictation. Okay, so that's what a week of an arrow guide, a week of copy work looks like. This This have been great. Each bundle that you buy for the year, they also you can also buy individual ones for older arrows that have come out. So just search the book that you would like to read, and it might have an arrow. But these arrows, they all come, they have been revised, and they come in a bundle, in a subscription that you buy at the beginning of the school year in August, and at the beginning of the month the arrow is downloaded and you can copy it. We're a little bit behind. We're only in our second book, but we I think we're doing pretty well. And one of the awesome things that they also have in here, they have some questions for you to work on your child. As you read the book, just called the juicy questions. There's also a literary element that you're gonna be working on at the end of the 4 weeks with a very brief writing assignment. And the coolest thing in here is there is a section for book club party school, and it gives you ideas of how to have a book club after you're done with the book. Okay, we are going to be doing next week. We're gonna be having the book club for the book from last month, the Series of Unfortunate Events. So I'm gonna get together with 2 other families, and we're gonna do a book club. We might not be at the same time as the books are coming out, but we're really excited. So yeah, so it gives you ideas of the things to serve, the kind of crafts to have with the kids, and all things like that. So I'm really excited. And I will talk to you a little bit more when it's my time to do my book club here at my home. I will just let you know how I'm planning that. So I'm really excited. So again, I hope this was helpful. I just want to give you I hope I didn't talk too much, a quick overview about what our arrow guide is and how to use it in your homeschool. I think it's been great. It's a really gentle way to teach your kids grammar, spelling, literary elements, reading comprehension, and it's working for us, and we're loving it. The Brave Writers lifestyle, we just kind of incorporating slowly some things, and we're really loving it. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please you post them below. I will post where you can find the arrow guys and everything, and a link to Brave Writer. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.